At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at BellisioFoods.com/careers.
Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where it is a Monday, and that means that, well, I'm back. Did you miss me?
I did miss you.
Did you even know I was gone? Did you notice?
I did notice. I did notice your buoyant, lively, effervescent personality. How could we? How
Have you
how
been
could we not
drinking,
miss
Pete?
you? Just some coffee.
Okay. Oh, well, you're drinking Pete Wilson coffee, though.
Unspiked. Yeah. Well, it's
Pete Wilson coffee will do it to you.
No alcohol content.
Okay. Well, your coffee's bad enough. So.
Right. Well, I'm not going to argue with you.
Strong enough. But no, Monday means Pete Wilson is here in the house, and we have a lot of news to cover.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of fairs, lots of things. And it seems as if I left town and some excitement happened all last week. So, we had El King in the house, and man, I missed it.
Right. I cannot believe you missed all that.
I know.
But the world goes on. I'm sure you had a good time.
We did.
That's the idea. You did, didn't you?
Yes, we did.
Okay.
And headed down to Charleston, South Carolina. Never been down there before. I mean, I don't know, I've been there for a couple hours, but not
beautiful historic city.
Holy moly. We ended up extending our vacation a day just because we were like, man, we're just not getting to see all the stuff that we wanted to see. So, but anyway, we had a really good time, got to eat some really good food.
Of course.
And so we'll tell you all about it. Went axe throwing. Never had done that before.
Okay. That may come in handy sometime.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an expert now. I will show you.
Right. Don't they have a Paul Bunyan Festival or something up at the Hocking College?
If they do, I'm there.
Right. Well, they used to do that. And, they may still have that competition. And you would, I'm sure, in the Powder Puff division, just raise all kind of havoc.
That's right. No, I will say it worked out really well because we went during the middle of the day. It was just so hot down there. So we were just kind of looking for a respite.
I don't think you're going to escape that anywhere in the country the way it sounded.
It was rough. But we were the only people in the place at the time. So I got some really individualized assessment from the guy that works there. And so by the time I left, I had my axe throwing perfected.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Do not mess with Jennifer. That is the implied message that we have. Did you bring your axe with you?
No, I did not.
Okay.
No.
I bet you have it tucked away somewhere.
Yeah, well, maybe.
Okay.
And then I will say, just because my husband's very athletic, of course, he just started flinging them and hit a bullseye pretty much every single time. I could have just strangled him. But other than that,
well, he's thrown a few
baseballs
in his time. So he had kind of a head start on you.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
I bet you could do better than him on horseback.
I bet you're right. Good point. Thank you, Pete.
Right.
Making a girl feel better.
That's all right.
So what's going on in the news? Since I haven't been around, I really don't know kind of what's been happening.
Okay, well, we have a mix of news. Of course, the Vinton County Junior Fair wrapped up, I think, in a positive way. We'll tell you why. Mainly because the livestock sale was very successful. That was last Friday evening. We were there to cover it, and we'll show you some photos, highlights from that here in just a minute. But we're going to take care of some other more current news from across the spectrum of the community. And unfortunately, this hit pretty close to home for you just a couple of days ago on late Saturday afternoon.
Very sad.
A home on Standpipe Road which is not too far off U.S. Route 35, that side of Standpipe Road. This fire occurred at 4:15 p.m. at the residence of Randy and Kathleen Freeman.
Yeah.
And that is a view of the back of the house where the fire started.
And
you can see
there used to be a deck there, I will tell you.
Right. You can see down on the underside there, there was a lawnmower and a four-wheeler that were parked against the house. And Dave Channel, the Jackson fire chief, believes that's where the fire started. Don't know how or why, but that is his supposition and theory based on the fire damage and where it started.
Gotcha.
Now, there's a family of five. Randy and Kathleen have 3 teenage boys.
Yes.
I believe that Kathleen and 2 or 3 of the boys were home at the time. They did not see the fire started, according to what they told the fire officials. They just realized, hey, there's smoke in the house, and they got out.
Yeah.
So they were uninjured. That part was good. However, the fire caused, even though you see the structure there, and from the front, if you look, it's hard to tell about the fire damage, but it's extensive inside.
It's bad.
Right. When you have a fire and you're making sure it doesn't spread in the house, even if you get it out, you have heat, smoke, and water damage. That is almost throughout any house, when you have a structure fire. And when that happens, your contents normally are destroyed. They're unsalvageable in the most part. So Dave Channel listed this as a major damage fire, but he said he wouldn't be surprised if when it's all assessed, it will be considered a total loss.
I would say so.
So once again, the fire there's a frontal view from Standpipe Road. Now, it's not the house, the blue house that you see there. That's just where the fire trucks were parked outside. But we're talking about a multi-department response. It was in
crazy.
Jackson fire territory because they cover Franklin Township.
Yes.
This is in Franklin Township, and Jackson is under contract to cover Franklin Township. But they had help from the Bloomfield Township Volunteer Fire Department, the Liberty Township Fire Department, the Wellston Fire Department, the Colton Fire Department provided backup coverage in Jackson. The South Webster Fire Department came from Scioto County to cover the Madison Jefferson station because Madison Jefferson came up the Moke Hill, but then South Webster even came up to help on the scene. So, when you have a major fire hub like Madison Jefferson or Jackson all report to a fire, their station needs coverage in case there's another fire.
It gets wild about that. They have to all rotate
really does.
around. Yeah.
Now, so we had all those departments. There were a total of 20 firefighters. You might be surprised. You think there would be more with those departments. Well, the problem is there's just not enough firefighters that we have in our departments. And so between having as many men and women there as possible to fight the fire, you also have the issue of heat.
It was so hot.
It was a hot day. And even if you've never worn fire gear, you can almost imagine how hot that is on a hot and humid day like it was last Saturday afternoon. And so because of the fear of heat exhaustion or whatever, you have as many firefighters there as possible. As it was, the firefighters were on the scene for a little bit more than 3 hours there. And even though the family was able to get out with no injuries, obviously, there's a big recovery operation there. The American Red Cross is providing some immediate assistance, whatever that is, temporary shelter, some other things maybe. But certainly a very bad thing for the Randy and Kathleen Freeman family. The fire officially undetermined, but once again, Dave Channel determined because of where the fire started. The surmise is maybe some issue with those 2 vehicles that were parked against the house in the back there. But the fire started on the outside. It shot up. It got into the attic even. And so it went kind of straight up there. Straight up there. And then, of course, all sorts of smoke and water and heat damage in the rest of the house where the fire did not get.
Yeah, very, very
So it sounds like the firefighters did a good job there. But we will have that story online shortly. It's all completed and everything. Of course, we will have it in our Wednesday edition of the Telegram. All right. Well, we've got to bounce this with some good news now. The Village of Oak Hill, the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce, got together on Saturday at noon.
Okay.
Red Thompson Jr. was there to cover it. We'll, of course, have coverage on this as well, coming on the newspaper and the radio and our other platforms. But they celebrated, the folks in Oak Hill, the dedication of a new basketball pickleball court there at the Margaret Ann Pool. The Margaret Ann
How
Pool and Park
fun.
on Washington Street in Oak Hill. That's village owned and operated. For years, there's been a tennis court there. It's kind of fallen into disrepair, not used very much. And so when they got, the village when they got a neighborhood revitalization grant, $750,000, $750,000,
that was awesome.
they were able to do 6 or 7 major projects that might have been hard for the village to do on its own financially. Well, one of the things they did was a quality of life project. That's what they called this. It was to take the existing tennis court there. They're going to, resurface it, and they're going to convert it into a basketball/pickleball court. Of course, basketball has got a long history. Kids will always, and young men and women will always go there to use the basketball courts. But pickleball is an up-and-coming sport that is considered to be very inclusive. Young and old can play, families, whatever. And it's become very popular here in Jackson.
It has been, yeah.
And the folks in Oak Hill, I don't know how many people play pickleball, but they will have a very convenient opportunity now because that facility is there. Have you found those pictures yet, Dylan?
I found a dog park, if that's connected.
Yes, we're talking about that facility as well. If you put that up, one of the things they announced at the basketball pickleball dedication ceremony is there you see a sign. They have that on display there. There's going to have a dog park there as well, adjacent to the basketball and pickleball court.
Awesome.
This is a project of the Oak Hill Festival of Flags Committee. Once again, a community group that works very hard, a lot of volunteer hours to put on the festival. Here they are doing something else for the community. And so the dog park is not done yet, but they've got a place for it. They even have some old fire hydrants that have been decommissioned that they're going to have in the dog park.
That's smart.
So the dogs will be very happy.
Yes.
They'll know where to go.
Where to go.
We'll just put it that way. There is, there's a big open area for the dogs to run.
Great.
You can maybe see in the distance there some fire hydrants that have already been put in position there. I'm not sure how many are there, but multiple, a lot of space for multiple dogs to run. One of the last things they need to do is put in some fencing. It should be done in the near future. All right, and here are some of the folks who were on hand at Oak Hill for the dedication ceremony, and I want to recognize them. You've got village people, you got Festival of Flags people, and you got Chamber of Commerce people. There and Jackson County Commissioner John Hensler, you can see him standing in the back on the left. He along with Paul McNeil, the mayor of Oak Hill, was kind of the MC running this thing.
That's great.
John gave some very nice remarks as the county commissioner and also as a resident of Oak Hill. He called it a quality of life thing. It's the kind of thing that it makes it more pleasant to live in Oak Hill, or if there are people determining, if they're going to work in the area, would Oak Hill be a good place to live? More recreation that is available there. They've got Central Memorial Park. They've got new playground equipment at Etna Park now. And now they have this pickleball basketball facility and also a very good pool, all there together at one site. But there in the picture, you got John Hensler, his young son Emmett is right in front of him. There on the front, you have Joy Hale, who is the pool manager at Margaret Ann Pool. They had a free pool day in conjunction with this.
Oh, great.
The village sponsored this. You could come and swim for free that day. Jennifer Hughes, who is the Oak Hill Village Council President on the Festival of Flags Committee, she's standing next to Joy. Then you've got also there in that front row, you've got Councilman Jody Folk. You've got Oak Hill Mayor Paul McNeil, and on the end is Paul's wife, Wilma McNeil. In the back row, in addition to John Hensler, you have Judy Hamilton, who is the secretary for the Oak Hill Area Chamber of Commerce.
Mother of James.
That is correct. That is another one of her great accomplishments.
That's
for
right.
Sure. In the back row, you have Councilman Terry McCain as well. And also Brian Moore, who is very active in the community as a member of the Festival of Flags Committee, and also he's active with the Chamber of Commerce. So this was a great day for the village of Oak Hill. And, the best thing about it, this was grant supported. And this was one of the projects that they picked out. Most of the projects now, I believe, have been completed on that neighborhood revitalization project, but there were some infrastructure projects, street paving projects, water line projects, playground equipment at Etna Park. It
Yes.
did so much. And, the only match was community involvement, basically. So,
That's awesome.
So congratulations to all the folks in Oak Hill. So if you have a chance, go by and see those facilities, and remember the dog park coming very soon at that same location.
Exciting.
All right, we're going to go north on State Route 93 now and talk about a major transition in the Vinton County schools. We didn't have time to talk about this Friday, so we're going to talk about it now. We can't let it go by because there's a couple local angles there. But Vinton County High School has a new principal, and it's a lady we know so well, Megan Sowers, who,
yes.
there she is, there's Megan. Megan, of course, grew up in Wellston, graduated from Wellston High School. Originally, of course, Megan Darrow, from the well-known Darrow family in Wellston. Megan had been a teacher, then an administrator, and lastly, the principal at Wellston High School until sometime in 2021. Then for the last 2 years, she's been the executive director of the Jackson-Vinton Community Action Agency, a very important job. But, her background, her professional background, education training's all in education.
Yeah.
So I know that she was glad to get back in education. Just up the road in Vinton County, you can see she found a maroon shirt to put on there.
Did. She's sporting the colors.
She's sporting the collars. And she is replacing a guy we also know so well.
We do.
J.J. Milliken.
Yes.
There's J.J. right there. We know him so well. Of course, he grew up here in the Jackson area, graduated from Jackson High School, was a social studies teacher in the Jackson High School for a while. Then, as a fairly young man, he got a very important job, principal at Vinton County High School.
That's right.
And that's where he has been for the last 4 years. I know he's highly thought of in the Vinton County schools. They hated to lose him, but he had an opportunity that he thought would be good for him and his family, and that is as a principal and director of programs at the Pickaway County Educational Service Center. This is up the road in 35. He'll be traveling, but the difference is when you're a high school principal, I mean, you're talking about a long job. You're talking about a lot of extracurricular activities.
Yes.
At Pickaway ESC, that job will not only be a change of pace for him, it will allow him to spend more time with his family,
Well, sure.
who lives here in Jackson. I know he's got 2 young boys, one in high school, and they're involved in a lot of activities, and so that will be good for him. I know he enjoyed his time at Vinton County High School. That was a bittersweet thing, but once again, he's moving on to the Pickaway ESC. So congratulations to Megan, and congratulations, of course, to J.J. Milliken.
Sure.
And, Jennifer, what has happened? School is going to be starting in 2 weeks or so.
Believe that?
The first day for the Vinton County local schools is Wednesday, August the 16th.
Oh.
So at Vinton County, JJ got that job kind of late in the game, in the summer, considering the new school year is coming. So I know that the Vinton County Schools Superintendent Rick Brooks, the school board voted unanimously to hire Megan to get somebody with that kind of experience at that short notice.
Yes, that's great.
I know they're very happy, and I'm sure Megan is happy to be back in education, even though I know that she did a good job with community action. Yep. All right. On the criminal side, we have a report out of Jackson County. This was on the front page of our Saturday edition. A Jackson County grand jury has handed down a 16-count indictment against a 35-year-old Oak Hill area man. Timothy W. Stein lives on Swan Airport Road. He is now in the Jackson County Correctional Facility following accusations from a minor that he sexually abused this young girl. As a result of the investigation, a case was presented to the Jackson County grand jury, and as a result, Stein is now facing 7 counts of rape. That is a first-degree felony. 7 counts of sexual battery, which is a third-degree felony. 1 count of obstructing justice, a 5th-degree felony, and also importuning, which is a 5th-degree felony. The indictment alleges that another man, Andrew S. Ballard, age 35, he's from Wellston, who was wanted on a May indictment for domestic violence as well as questioning of a sexual assault. evade authorities. The indictment also lists that Stein engaged in sexual conduct with a minor on several occasions. The victim alleges the sexual conduct took place from 2021 to May of this year.
Okay.
And Stein remains an inmate
my.
in the Jackson County Correctional Facility. 16
16?
sex-related charges,
Oh, my.
7 of them rape. All right, so there are some
Yikes.
other reports coming out of the sheriff's office as a result of the grand jury. Jackson County Prosecutor Randy Dupree recently released indictment information from the June grand jury and the
Okay.
July grand jury. And when indictments come through, even though crimes have occurred before and investigations have taken place and are largely completed, that is when law enforcement agencies feel more comfortable releasing information.
Sure.
A lot of times on these undercover investigations of sex-related cases, you don't hear about them until there is
Right.
some indictment, and that is the case here with Timothy Stein. All right, there's a lot happening in Wellston, and Wellston Mayor Anthony Brenner, the administration, and Wellston City Council want the public's input. And you're going to get a chance to have input with
Okay.
2 meetings this week. Recall that Wellston City Council recently, at the behest of Mayor Anthony Brenner, recently passed legislation to put a pool/recreation levy on the ballot
Sure.
for the November general election. And if this new levy, this additional levy is passed, it would pay for the construction of a new pool as well as other recreational upgrades.
Right.
One of the things that Mayor Brenner is emphasizing is that this is more about than just building a pool. This is about other recreation
Okay.
upgrades that they can do. Just like the basketball pickleball court in Oak Hill, he considers it a quality of life thing, a very important thing in the history of Wellston to say, hey, we're moving forward as a community. We want a better place to live for the people who live here. We want to be more inviting for tourists that may come.
Well,
Because,
sure.
you know, there's been all those recreational facility upgrades out on State Route 327.
Yeah, big
You know, they're
time.
going to build a campground out there. And so he sees the big picture of generating visitors as well as having Wellston just be a better place to live because of, you know, having a pool and other recreational facilities.
And I think they're being smart, and I think part of their point of all of this is you can build a pool fine, but you still have to maintain it, and all of these other, you know, you can build the stuff, but you still have to maintain it,
Right.
which is why the levy, why they're talking about that.
It takes money. It's kind of a balancing act
Yeah.
because if you have a city or village pool, you want it to be as cheap as possible for.
I know, it's like this whole catch-22
right,
thing
but you
going
have
on.
to operate it,
Yeah.
and that takes money. It isn't just hiring a manager and lifeguards; it's
They're
the expenses
money
of,
pits
of
for
maintaining
sure.
the pool and the equipment and like that. Things have to be replaced. The Oak Hill Village, of course, has a Parks Recreation levy. It's much smaller, but they couldn't have the pool without that levy,
Right.
and the voters have always stepped forward and supported it.
Yep.
The Wellston levy is larger because they have to build the pool. And also because, you know, they have to operate the pool and then they have these other recreational plans,
Yeah.
you know, bike paths, improvements on the bike path, extending the bike path might be part of it. But they're going to have a town hall meeting. This is what I was getting around to.
Okay.
This Wednesday at 6 p.m. at the Depot in Wellston. This is a meeting that the city of Wellston has set up, but it's not a council meeting or anything. They're calling it a town hall meeting because they want people to come and say, to learn about the need for this levy and also to suggest how to use some of the money for the levy.
Okay.
But that levy will be on the November ballot, and proposed uses of this levy right now could include, you know, this is why they want the public to weigh in on it, extending the current bike path, maintaining and upgrading the current city parks, and of course, the construction and operation of a new city pool.
Okay.
Remember, Jennifer, there was a pool in Wellston for many years. It kind of fell into disrepair
I
a
can
little bit.
remember being a little girl and going to the Wellston pool for
Right.
some reason. I don't know why, but
Yeah, it was there, I think, on Michigan Avenue in a residential area. The city was in dire financial straits for
Sure.
a while, and they just could not keep it up because
Yep.
it costs money to operate a pool. Here in Jackson, for a while, they kept Hillcrest open by getting donations and like that. Now, of course, the city is in better financial shape with the income tax.
Sure.
I'm not sure how they manage the money part, but I know they count on pool parties, concessions, and like that to try to help meet the operating costs. But if you want to weigh in on the pool recreation levy in Wellston, the time to do that or learn about it is 6 p.m. this Wednesday at the Depot in Wellston. That meeting is at the Depot, not at City Hall. Then on Thursday, there's another meeting where you can learn about another thing going on in Wellston. This, of course, is sesquicentennial year in Wellston.
You said it so well, Pete.
Okay, don't ask me to do it again. But the city folk are kind of driving it.
Yes.
I think the Ohilco Society may be very active because they want to do a lot of the activities in conjunction with this year's Ohio Hill Country Festival, which we still kind of call the Ohilco Festival. But the next planning meeting, there's already been 2 or 3 of these meetings, but the next planning meeting, they call it the 150 planning meeting, will be this Thursday at 6 p.m. in the City Council chambers. There is a committee that has been formed. There's city people on it. There's community people on it. But anybody can come to listen or to make comments or suggestions about the things to do. I'm sure that if they're going to be able to do a lot of activities, they could use community participation, not just input. And so that'll be a good place to learn about it. And of course, we'll be following up on it in the newspaper as well. So 2 big meetings in Wellston, a town hall meeting, 6 p.m. Wednesday at the Depot on the pool recreation levy, and then on the sesquicentennial planning, 6 p.m. Thursday at the City Council chambers.
Very good. Don't complain if you don't participate.
No, that is exactly right. Okay, we have some good news from the city of Jackson, too.
Oh, good.
Not all that long ago, Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced funding from the Ohio Builds program, which is for broadband, utilities, infrastructure for local entities.
Mm-hmm.
The city of Jackson got a very large infrastructure grant, $1.62 million for a major water line project.
Nice.
This is something the city had on its agenda. It was just when the money could come in and when they could get enough to do it. Even with the city income tax, which, they try to direct a lot of money towards paving and infrastructure, it's so costly that there's no way that you can put all the money towards that or you wouldn't be doing anything else. You can get grants and loans and all like that, but the grant will allow the city to move forward on what they're calling the Looped Water System Trunk Line Repair and Replacement Project, which in simplest terms is basically putting a new water line on South Street, which, is a main corridor there on the south end of the city. But you're talking about, specifically, the grant funds will be used to replace a 123-year-old water line. Do you think it's about time to replace that? It's on South Street all the way from Main Street to Ohio Avenue, which is, way there on the west side of town. So
that's all of South Street for the most part.
Practically all of South Street. So in addition to the water line replacement, they will have a much bigger, newer water line there. They will have 32 gate valves. They'll have new service line as well as water lines to residents. 100 service connections will be involved, 23 insert valves, 17 new fire hydrants. The project will benefit 6,239 people, all said. Because this is
That's your neck of the woods,
Yeah,
Pete.
it is. You're right. They may be digging in my yard, and that's okay. That's okay. That's progress.
Yeah, that's
right. They
right.
dug in there for the gas line, and now they may do it for. I'm not sure.
Just keep digging.
I'm not sure
man.
how much digging they'll do, but when you see that digging and that interruption, it's a good thing.
It is
a good thing.
You're right.
It's progress. All right, so that's good news to report from the city of Jackson. We previously had that in the paper.
Yep.
I want to give props to a guy who does such good work on our Telegram news department and such a sweetheart. Of course, editorial assistant Alex Shope.
Yes.
Alex does a lot of the processing. He does a lot of the grunt work, moves a lot of copy for me at the Telegram for the news, but he also goes out and writes dynamite stories when I need him to.
He does.
And we had a story in our Saturday paper that is worth taking a look at. Of course, it's on the website too, but it was coverage of the recent rededication of the Kelli Lambert Memorial Park in Wellston. And this was such a wonderful event. They really did it up right. it was kind of a strange juxtaposition. Part of it was to celebrate the new facilities in
Yeah,
the Kelli
for
Lambert
sure.
Memorial Park. A lot of new playground equipment, sidewalks, benches, etc. Picnicking facilities, I think. A big overhaul thanks to a NatureWorks
Huge.
grant.
Yeah.
Looks very nice. So they wanted to acknowledge that, but they
Yeah.
also wanted to, once again, restate their love and support for the late Kelli Lambert, who
Yep.
died in the line of duty as a young Wellston police officer, 21 years old.
Only
There is Kelli
21.
right there. It happened on July the 21st, 2003. So this rededication event was on July 21st, 2023, the 20th anniversary of her death.
Very appropriate.
She was on an emergency call. Her cruiser collided with another police cruiser.
Yep.
Horrible. She died instantly or almost instantly, and they named the park after her. It was the West Broadway Street Park. They named it after her shortly after her untimely death. And there you see, the marker there, the Kelli Lambert Memorial Park, of course, in blue and gold. You see some of the new playground equipment there in the background.
It is so cool. I drove by there not too long ago.
It's a big park.
They hadn't opened it yet, but I was like, being super nosy, and man, it just gorgeous. All that new equipment and everything. It looks so good.
But there was some of Kelly's relatives that were there for the dedication / memorial cemetery or ceremony. There, as a matter of fact, as Dylan has put that picture up, you have Vanessa Lambert and Katie Milligan, who are relatives of Kelli, along with Wellston Mayor Anthony Brenner on the left and Wellston Police Chief John Robinson on the right. County officials were there. Wellston Police Department officials were there. I believe Sheriff Ted Frazier was there. There are some of the officers that were there. Of course, you see Officer Jay with blue there as well. It was very solemn, but also upbeat, if you can believe that all at once, because it was kind of like saying we're never going to forget Kelli Lambert's dedication and ultimate sacrifice to the city of Wellston, and an acknowledgement that in the emergency services realm, particularly police and firefighters,
it is.
You never know.
Very dangerous.
You never know.
But what to think that people will enjoy that park every day in her honor. I think that's
right.
wonderful.
Well, you can't go there without seeing that sign.
Right.
And so I
Cool.
thought the Wellston folks did a great job, and I will give once again props to Alex Schote because he wrote it up right. He could have gone there. It was busy time. It was County Fair week. He went there to cover it because another staffer who I had assigned to cover it was not able to. He went there on short notice, and he just didn't take a picture. He kind of recapped the whole thing, did a little bit of research.
Because Alex rocks. That's why.
He does. I appreciated that effort, not only for the paper, but for the folks in Wellston and the family of Kelli Lambert.
So good.
All right. We need to put out a warning that the Jackson County Health Department has put out. The Ohio Department of Health has put this out as well, and that is about ticks.
Yes.
You hear this every summer, but apparently it's a little worse this summer.
They're not good this year, that's for sure.
Right. This will be on our website, but the Jackson County Health Department, this is a localized release, so it's very important. They are encouraging all local residents to take precautions when going outside to decrease the chances of getting a tick bite.
Yes.
And, when those little burgers get on you, you
Oh,
don't know
man.
until, you're examining yourself maybe. If you even bothered to do that, oh, what's that red mark there? What's that thing on me?
Right.
They're so small and you don't often feel them on you.
Ticks used to be big and you could see them. They're not anymore.
Right.
They're a whole different species
The ones
now.
that got on the dogs, sometimes you could see. But reported cases of Lyme disease, which is, caused by a tick bite, have increased 43%. That's a lot.
Scary.
And Rocky Mountain spotted fever, 57%.
Holy moly.
This is from the period of May 2023 through June 2023. So, this is not the latest. This is the latest information available, but that's just through June. And that there's been other cases.
Yeah.
You probably anecdotally heard about people
Oh,
and a lot of times it's not easily diagnosed because, you even got bit by a tick maybe.
for sure. You're just like, I don't know. didn't see anything on me, but
But you can encounter a tick in almost any outside environment, but obviously more outside and in the woods and when you're on trails and in high grass and like that.
yep.
And you can protect yourself by treating your clothing with permethrin, if you know what that is. I don't know what that is, but it's some kind of
Bug spray.
substance that keeps the
Yeah.
ticks off of you, and and you spray it on your skin. It is a chemical that you can use to treat clothing, boots, tents, and other outdoor gear, and I guess it repels the ticks. So I don't know whether that's a 100% type thing, but it would certainly help.
Yes.
Also, of course, you want to remove the ticks when you see one. You want to do it with a pair of tweezers and grab the tick as close to the skin as possible and pull it straight out of the skin so no part of it is still in there.
Yep.
Do not twist or jerk. Just pull it straight out with the tweezers and then wash with soap and water.
Yep.
Seek medical attention if you think you've been bitten by a tick, have a fever, rash, or flu-like symptoms. A simple blood test can be done to test you for Lyme disease or Rocky Mountain spotted fever. If you've been outside and you're hiking or you've been in tall grass, you wanted to do that, or you had to do that for whatever reason, examine yourself after.
Absolutely.
Try to cover your skin as
Yes.
much as possible, as well as using these chemical sprays. Usually the ticks will get in a groin area, armpits, the back of the knees, around the waist, inside and around the ears, on your butt, and in your hair. They can go anywhere. And you're
Does
not.
it say on your butt?
It does. It does. So I guess.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly.
Cover your butt when you go outside.
Right, but
No, that makes sense. They probably go.
anyway. Be aware that if you're outside, particularly in the weeds, in the high brush, on a recreational trail, we're not telling you not to do that stuff, but you just have to be more careful on the front end and on the back end. Examine yourself. All right, state issue 1. This is the final full week for early voting before the Tuesday, August 8th special election.
You're
So
not
if you
kidding.
want to vote on this and you want to do it ahead of time, you can do it in-person voting, and you can also do it by absentee. The in-person voting is at our respective boards of elections.
Okay.
For us, that's Jackson County Board of Elections or Vinton County Board of Elections. And the hours are extended this week, so they're making it easier for you, more convenient. Tonight, it's 7:30 a.m. until 7:30 p.m. The office opened early, and it's all the way open until 7:30. That will be the same case Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And tomorrow, it's going to be even more, 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. So you really don't have an
Wow.
excuse.
No, you do not.
Even if you work. Saturday and Sunday, the boards of elections will be open for early voting, 8 to 4 on Saturday and 1 to 5 p.m. on Sunday. And of course, we had the TV show on it. You guys did a great job. We thank State Representative Bob Peterson for being available.
Absolutely.
Dennis,
He's busy.
on the pro side, Dennis Reinhardt and Bill Martin on the no side.
Also busy.
I thought that was a great service of Main Street TV, and you got a lot of credit for your moderation there from both sides, I think. And I know James did some legwork to make that happen.
Yep.
And I thought it was such a great service that I had Phil Buffington write a story based on the Main Street TV interview. So he
great.
broke down some of the main comments from both sides, and that was in our Saturday paper, and it's posted online as well.
Good.
So once again, that special election is on August the 8th. That's a
Yes.
week from tomorrow.
So you have a few days still to vote and plenty of time at the Board of Elections to get in there.
Exactly. All right. Now we'll go to the Vinton County Fair livestock sale.
Okay.
And Dylan is going to be putting up some pictures here in just a minute. I'll tell you when to start on that, Dylan, but a couple of overall comments on that. It was on Friday evening. It lasted about 5 hours. It moved along pretty good. But even though the attendance this year at the fair was down a little bit, probably because of the heat.
It's hot.
Unfortunately, it's in July, and that happens to our
Yep.
county fairs around here sometimes. But at the livestock sale, new records were established in 4 of the 8 animal divisions. So that was
Wow.
tremendous. And the top price given it established a new all-time record through any species at the Vinton County Junior Fair, was Annika Snyder's steer. It was not a grand champion or reserve champion animal, but Annika Snyder got a bid of $10,000 from Southern Ohio Monument and owner-operator Doug Habern.
Oh, wow.
So Annika will have her name on the banner along with Southern Ohio Monument. They update that banner every year. This is the all-time top price in recorded history, I'm told, at the Vinton County Junior Fair. And aside from that, they had a pie auction where different 4-H advisors or 4-H members are holding pies freshly baked, and they have an auction, and that goes to scholarships that the 4-H Council, I think, gives. Well, anyway, Doug Habern, same guy we're talking about, he was bidding up a peach pie that Donnell Thompson Ramage had made, and the bid got up real high, and Danielle yelled out, "If it gets up to $1,000, I'll kiss you on the cheek." Well, Doug did the 1,000 and later did the 2,000. And so he got kisses on both cheeks plus a freshly baked peach pie.
Nice.
So if you go to Southern Ohio Monument and Doug offers you a peach pie and charges a higher than normal price, there's a reason.
It's only $100 a slice.
Right. On the retail chain, the markup, it's going to have to be there. But that was a very generous thing for him to do. But there were also record prices given by Steeleall Construction for the dairy feeder of Jay Speakman. The Renovate Life Church of God gave a record-breaking price of $5,000 for the reserve champion market hen turkey of Caden Robinette. For market chickens, Southern Ohio Adventures Recreation, also known as SOAR, paid a record $4,000 for chickens shown by Shania Holcomb. And in the market rabbit sale, the grand champion entry of Braden Bay was sold for a record price of $4,100 to Southern Ohio Adventures Recreation. The final record of the day was Hunter Mulhern's Grand Champion Lamb. It went for $4,500 to Steeleall Construction.
Wow.
All right, Dylan, if you're ready, show us some of those Grand Champion animals. I'll try to acknowledge, the kid and the buyer that made the purchase. Okay, well, that is the Grand Champion goat. That was sold by Abigail Grace for $2,200, and you see that Mark Porter Ford was the buyer because you see General Manager Shane Porter there in the pink shirt. And Porter Ford was there buying it. And there on the right is the Vinton County Republican Party representative, Sheriff Ryan Kane. So that was a dual buy, and that was the very first animal sold, and it did go not for a record price, but for $2,200. It was a Grand Champion animal. Okay, move along there, Dylan, to the next one. That is the Grand Champion Dairy Beef Feeder, shown by Colton Coker. It was purchased for $2,800 by the Renovate Life Church of God, McDonald's Towing, Stars Auto Body, and Smith's Well Drilling. Buyer representatives are shown in that photo. By the way, all these photos are going to be in Wednesday's edition of the Telegram.
Okay.
We think we've got them all lined up and ready to go. Okay, Dylan, move along, sir. All right, there is the Grand Champion Tom Turkey. That was sold by Kelli Lambert. And there is Doug Habern. He's the man right there, second from the left. He bought that animal for $4,600. All right, next will be the Grand Champion. That looks like the Grand Champion
Hen turkey.
Hen turkey, yeah.
Hen turkey. And that was purchased, that was Lakota Mace who was the seller, and that was purchased by Shriver's Pharmacy there in downtown MacArthur. All right, then we have the Grand Champion Hog. That was sold by Parker Mock for $6,000, and there was multiple buyers, including State Representative Mark Johnson, Jerry's Do-It Center. You'll see Greg Beckner in that picture if you look. The Piggly Wiggly Store of Wellston. The Jackson Vinton Farm Bureau, Mick Scott, the Farm Bureau president, Kim Harless, the organization director in there. The Atomic Credit Union, McDonald's, you'll see Brad Munn in that picture. The Allen and the Allen Stone Company, multiple buyers for the Grand Champion Hog. All right, and next is the Grand Champion Chicken. This was sold by Jace Moore for $3,600, and there he is again.
Doug
Habern with Southern Ohio Monument.
I think he should be having to put that peach pie in every picture.
Right, okay.
He should be holding it.
Right. Yeah, well, I should have got a picture of him getting that kiss. I missed that,
Yes.
but I did see it. It did happen.
That's funny.
All right, and move along there to the next one. This would be the Grand Champion Steer. That's always a hallmark purchase.
Yes.
Riley Ashmore, young lady there in the pink holding the steer. She raised that animal. It was purchased for $8,500 by Braden Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Chillicothe Truck. Todd Braden and his wife Heather are there in the picture on the right. They've got successful automobile dealerships. He is a Vinton County native. Remember when he was in school and playing football. And when he bought that, when their business bought that, it was a new record. But before the steer sale was over, the record was broken 2 times more. So it didn't end up being the record. Remember, Annika Snyder's steer went for $10,000. All right, next should be the Grand Champion Rabbit. This was sold by Braden Bay, and the purchase was made by the Southern High Adventures Recreation for $4,100. All right, and the final one is the Grand Champion Lamb, and that was sold by Hunter Mulhern, who turned out to be quite an achiever at the fair. We'll mention that in just a minute.
Yes.
But his Grand Champion Lamb went for $4,500. That was a record. Stiliall Construction was the buyer. They were one of the big buyers at the fair. That is located just near Wilkesville, just off State Route 124. So congratulations to all the buyers there at the Vinton County Junior Fair. They had really good support all the way around. And we want to come back to Hunter Mulhern.
Yeah.
Okay, what kind of fair did Hunter Mulhern?
He just did a few things during the fair.
Right. Well, we're going to put up a picture to kind of show you just how much he did. That is Hunter standing in front of a trailer. He needed a trailer for all the awards he won. He's standing in the background there. I'll just run these down real quick. I hope we didn't miss any. We may have.
Oh, yeah.
He had the Grand and Reserve Champion Market Lamb. He had the Grand Champion Breeding Ewe. He had the Grand Champion Breeding Heifer. He had the Reserve Champion Breeding Gilt. That's a pig. He was also crowned the Ultimate Sheep Showman, the Ultimate Beef Showman, and then he won the Overall Showman. The Ultimate Showman is what they call that. That's where all the showmanship winners compete against each other. Saturday, he was competing in the Ohio State Fair. So we noticed that he was winning a lot. You know, I know there's a lot of kids there, but Dylan Euler did a wonderful job, interviewed him at the fair. And of course, we've got pictures and a quote from Hunter. We'll have that story in Wednesday's paper as well. Kind of little profile of Hunter. I think he deserves that. We hate to sometimes single out kids, but
when you do all that, you deserve it.
Right. I'm sure that no single individual won as much at the fair as Hunter Mulhern did.
Yep.
So congratulations to him. All right. We will move on. There are a couple of things that we want to report from the Jackson County Fair. We're still putting some of that information to bed. They had, for the first time, they had a market steer carcass project, remember? We talked about that last week or maybe even the week before.
Very interesting.
We've got a detailed story on that. They did that earlier, but it was way back in the early 70s. But they brought it back. I think they're going to end up doing it next year. But we're going to have a story in Wednesday's paper explaining that. And also, you know, I know it was a big issue at both the Jackson County Fair and the Vinton County Junior Fair, the carnival rides.
The ride companies,
Right. They both counted on a company called the Brinkley Entertainment Company out of North Carolina. They have serviced other fairs in the area as well. Because of a death in the family, I think one of the major owner-operators, they still operate, but they're not doing as much this year.
Yes.
And they stayed closer to home in North Carolina, and so they couldn't do the Jackson County Fair. They couldn't do the Vinton County Fair. And so they had to hustle to come up with other ride companies, and they did, but there weren't as many rides, and they weren't as big, and, you know, there was some criticism that was out there.
Just not the caliber that everyone's used to.
Right, even though the fair people in both counties honestly did the best they could.
They did the best they could, for sure.
But Jeremiah Shaver did an interview with Mike Farley, the Jackson County Fair Board president, that we're going to have in Wednesday's paper, explaining the situation. So they knew what the Fair Board was up against. And they did acknowledge that they want to have, you know, more and better rides next year, both in Jackson County and Vinton County. I talked with Austin Owings, the Vinton County Junior Fair Board president, this past weekend as well. He acknowledged that the attendance was down, people, yes, there weren't as many rides as there were before. Maybe that had something to do with attendance, but Austin felt really it was more about the heat.
Yeah.
But they did end up with a very successful livestock sale, same as in Jackson
Absolutely.
County as well. And we also had a story in Saturday's paper, and we put it in the form of an editorial, a little bit of a close look at the purchase of Weston Foster's goat. Remember, it went for $4,300. That is double the price of the Grand Champion goat at the Jackson County Fair. Nothing against the Grand Champion goat, but what you had was Weston Foster is the son of the late Ryan Foster.
Yep.
He is a 4-H member from the Oak Hill area. Some of the local fire departments who were buying at the fair went together. Some other businesses learned about what the fire companies were doing. You had the Jackson, Colton, and Madison Jefferson fire departments involved, or their firefighter associations wanting to bid up Weston's goat. Some other businesses jumped in, and they were able to give Weston by far the top price for any goat at the Jackson County Fair. And so that was in our Saturday paper. It's received a lot of attention online and on social media as well, if you want to check that out. Some other events to tell you about as we come down the home stretch here. They had a very successful Healthy Kickstart event at Manpower Park.
Looked like it. I drove by.
If you drove by there on Saturday, there was a lot going on. But the Jackson County Health Department, the Jackson County Job and Family Services, the Gallia-Vinton Educational Service Center, and the 21st Century Community Learning Centers all went together to have a kind of like back-to-school event that was very positive. There were school supplies that were available there to anybody who came. There was vaccines that you could learn about or get there. Immunizations for kids that are recommended or required. You learned about those, and they were free immunizations that you could get. But that took place at Manpower Park. I understand that about 190 families representing 560 kids. That are rough figures, but our Matt McKee reported those figures to me. He did a radio remote there. It was hot that day, but the sun was shining at least. Mm-hmm. So congratulations. That was the second year, I believe, they've done that Healthy Kickstart event. All right, in Vinton County on Friday night, that's where myself and Jeremiah Shaver were. It cooled down after a rain in the afternoon, which was nice. It was in the 70s instead of the 90s.
There
so it was comfortable at the junior fair. We were there for more than 5 hours. But here in Jackson, they had a little cloudburst at about 7 p.m. And unfortunately, that was about the time that the Jackson's Meet the Band event occurred at Alumni Stadium. So they're out there starting the national anthem, and down comes the rain. So anyway, the event, as they say, the show must go on.
Sure.
The clouds clear. There was a rainbow even over Alumni Stadium.
There you go.
But we'll have some pictures from that event that will be in one of the papers this week. Always a big event when the Jackson Meet the Band event is. It's kind of an introductory event, gives you a preview of some of the shows that will take place. Of course, there'll be marching and parades as well.
Yep.
And Ryan Hurt is back as the director of bands, maintaining that tradition
Get
here
y'all excited
in Jackson County. And of course, all the bands
seasons.
Are working hard last week, this week before school, band camp, or whatever you call the summer workouts. They're doing just what the football teams do as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Every day working hard. Of course, Ryan Hurd in Jackson, Bryce Werntz with the Oak Hill Marching Oaks, Katie King, the new band director for the Wellston Marching Rockets, and Sam Kugel with the Vinton County Marching Vikings. So we'll try to focus on them as well. So Jackson County Fair in the books, Vinton County Fair in the books. Now it's the Gallia County Junior Fair at the fairgrounds down there.
Always a great one.
Gallia County. Yeah, it starts. It is one of the top junior fairs in this area of the state, no doubt about it. Today is opening day. And our good friend Erin Deal Daly, who was 4-H agent here for many years, she's a native Gallia County, and she is back as the 4-H agent there for her first full year. She actually started last year, kind of hit the ground running, working the fair.
She did,
and while also doing the Jackson County Fair. But Monday is opening day. The high school bands will be performing in the afternoon. Opening ceremonies tonight, starting at 6 p.m., and then the annual Miss Gallia County Queen pageant at 9:30 p.m. So a big day there. There'll be entertainment and animal shows all week there. The radio is doing more coverage this year at the fair. They're going to be there every day, Monday through Friday, Today it will be from 2 to 6 p.m., and you can hear that on WKOV 96.7 FM. And if you haven't heard, sometimes where the fair is in Gallia County, there's been a flooding problem because of where it's located.
Yep.
Well, they're going to be able to move to a new location not too far away that will be out of the flood zone, or they feel it's out of the flood zone. They got something like $1 million plus grant from the state to help facilitate that.
Okay.
So Aaron told me they hope to have that new location set up and operating through next year's fair.
Wow. Okay.
So that's something to be excited. In the wings, we've got the Pike County Fair is happening this week, I believe. Also next week, I believe the Athens County Fair and the Ross County Fair a week later. So all those fairs coming. I think the radio is going to be involved in all those, not the Pike County, but those others. But anyway, in the area.
And then you have the Ohio State Fair going on as well.
They're all taking place. Last Saturday, we'll be reporting on this later. Red Thompson Jr. is working on it, but he did want to report that the Wilkesville Fire Department had their big fish fry, car show, and Queens pageant on Saturday.
Okay.
And we can tell you that the new queen there is Kylie Markham. He's working on coverage. We'll have some pictures from that later in the week. Red worked very hard at the fair, so he's catching up, but he did make it down to Wilkesville as well as checking out the pickleball facilities in Oak Hill. He was a busy boy. And so we'll be hearing more about that. We'll show you some pictures later.
Did Red play pickleball
while
he was down there?
I don't think he did.
Okay.
But I know he went to the pool.
Okay.
I know he went to the pool and saw that, yes, they were splashing in the pool. It was a great day, obviously, for the pool, right?
Yes, for sure.
It was a free pool day.
Yeah.
All right, the Jackson City Library is hosting a Southern Hills Arts Council art show on tomorrow, Tuesday.
Oh, cool.
It'll be at 6 p.m. You want to take advantage of seeing this because you'll see the artwork that the summer art students did at Jackson, Wellston, and Oak Hill.
That's so cool.
Shack, of course, we call it Shack. It's the Southern Hills Arts Council. They always do these summer art classes. Great opportunity for kids to have some artistic experiences from instructors who are very good at art. And some of the work that they did in these summer art classes will be on display at this art show. Light refreshments will be provided. That's at the library. Roger Donaldson, the librarian in Jackson, also so active in the community. He likes to have public events like that at the library or in the Potter Room in that same building.
Love that.
We want to remind you that the Wellston City Board of Education, if you're interested in what's happening on the school level, they normally meet on the second Monday of each month. Well, they did something because, it's not quite as busy in the summer. They put the July and August meetings together into one meeting, and they're having it tonight.
Okay.
So on Monday, July the 31st, this evening at 7 p.m., the Wellston City Board of Education will meet at the administration office. I'm sure they'll be taking care of any last-minute things that have to be done before the start of the school year. Don't know whether there'll be any hires or anything, but this will be the meeting that covers both July and August. All right, the Vinton County Health Department has announced that their WIC program, that is short for Women, Infants, and Children, it will be having in-person appointments again. They stopped those during COVID, and they had not resumed, but now they are resuming. They will resume starting tomorrow, Tuesday, August the 1st. First, children will need to be present for certification and health assessment appointments. Benefactors and their children will now need to come to the office for their heights, weights, and iron checks. If you have any questions, call the health department, but the bottom line is WIC will go back to an in-person appointment format.
Cool.
All right. And last but not least, I'll tell you what, the ladies at the Holy Trinity Catholic Church have one heck of a rummage sale every year.
Oh.
And I've been there, I know, but their annual rummage sale will be held Thursday, August 3, Friday, August 4, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. on those days. And then Saturday from 9 a.m. to noon, it will wrap up. And the best thing about a so-called rummage sale is, it's weatherproof. It's like a yard sale, but it's inside.
There you go.
It's going to be there in the parish hall right next to the church those 3 days. But they are advertising that they will have furniture, clothing, toys, household items, a lot of decors, seasonal items, jewelry, and much more. Proceeds from this event will go to support projects within the church as well as its community outreach programs.
Okay.
So it's going to be a great place to get some great deals as well and support some good causes.
Very good.
So there you are.
Wow, you are full of it today, Pete. Good job.
Right. That's what they tell me.
In a good way.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Well, we hope that you've enjoyed the program. And now that you are much smarter when it comes to what's going on in the news here in our area.
Well, we hope so. Just
Yep.
check out Wednesday's paper for all the wrap up on the Vinton County Fair livestock sale and everything else we can fit in there.
That's right. And, continue paying attention because the Gallia County Fair this week, it's a killer fair. It always has been. And so there's all kind of stuff still going on. Summer is not over, folks. So there's plenty to do. God knows. Hey, it's supposed to be a little cooler this week. Still supposed to be a little cooler.
Oh,
this week.
and just a little bit of a preview. I should have said this too. I know you'll probably talk about it later in the week, and if I'm back on later, I will. Pig Iron Day is this Saturday in Jackson.
That's right.
At Manpower Park, and that is just a great
It's a
family-centered
huge
event.
Yeah.
Inflation's gone up, but they still have cheap food there.
That's right.
That's one of the formats that they have, and they've held that. Where else are you going to? I don't know what the price is, so I better be careful. But last year, I believe they were selling pulled pork sandwiches for $3.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right. I don't know whether it'll be that this year, but I guarantee you it'll be the lowest cost quality sandwich that you can get in town that
And
day.
it's just fun.
Exactly.
On top of it. So, all right. Well, we'll keep telling you more about that as the week rolls on. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for spending your morning with us. And we will see you right back here tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye-bye.